My name is Jerry Carrington. I am 42 years old and from northern Indiana. I have 3 biological children and 4 stepchildren, including 1 grandchild I love like my own. I have wrestled with sharing this for a while, but believe God has asked me to share my testimony, to be a light in this dark world and a hope for the lost. My prayer is that even if it helps only one person realize how much God loves them and has a plan for them despite their mistakes or failures, then it is worth it. It's a little all over the place, but it's real and raw, which is who I really want to be. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my story. Greater than a lifelong dream. Growing up in a Christian home was both wonderful and a challenge. Even the people closest to you who have good intentions can let you down because we all have flaws. I grew up in a small town in northern Indiana called North Webster, Indiana until I was 10 years old. I lived in 2 farmhouses, though we never farmed. It was nice to have land to run outside and play with my siblings. I have only a handful of key memories of those early years as I was young and just don't remember a whole lot from those years. I distinctly remember one day playing outside near an old pit that was on the property. I'm not sure if it was an old well or what it was, but it was probably about 10 to 15 foot deep. I remember a possum had fallen in it, and I think that was the day I grew to really hate them. It just looked so dirty and gross and was like a giant ugly rat. I remember poking it numerous times with a stick, well, because I could. It could clearly not get out of the hole and was really annoying me at the time with its ugly hissing. There was an incident at my first house, which we lived in for the first 7 years. It was the house I was born in on January 29, 1984. My parents actually waited 3 days to name me, which didn't make my mama on my mom's side very happy. I believe it was just a signal of a divine plan that God had created from the beginning. One day, while outside playing, I fell on a stack of bales of hay around our house, which had a rusty nail in it. It went right through my knee that was bent. 35 years later, as I'm in dad joke stage, it's funny to think about how much I need my dad's help to get it out. There was also the time when we, us kids, decided to play baseball in our living room. I went a slide into second base, which was right near a window, and I couldn't stop. I ended up pushing my arm right through the window. Other than a few minor scrapes, I was all good, except for the story we had to tell our parents when they got home. I began playing the piano when I was 4 years old. I remember my mom saying I had a good rhythm by the time I was 2 years old. Music was a big part of my life from the start. I started out tinkering with one finger on the piano and playing songs I would hear on the radio. I began to really enjoy it and eventually within a few years started learning to play actual chords. At around 7, I moved into my second house just down the road. I had a wonderful dog named Sandy. She was same age as me when we got her at 2 years old. She was a German Shepherd mix whom I loved dearly. Sandy was a one-of-a-kind dog who I felt really close to. When I would feel down, she was always there to be by my side. I talked to her a lot, and she was a dog that just brought me a lot of joy and companionship, especially when I felt lonely. I spent many days outside on our farm enjoying God's creation. At 8 years old, I was saved and asked Jesus into my heart. Although I know I truly gave my heart to God, there was a lot of religiosity that came in due to some of my upbringing, and it was more based off of fear than a relationship of love. Music was the sweet spot of my life. Whenever I was down, or just wanted to talk to God in a different way, songs just became another way to communicate with God. When I was 10 and in 3rd grade, we moved from North Webster into Milford, Indiana, when I spent the rest of my younger childhood and into adulthood. I attended Milford Elementary through middle school, and though I had a lot of good moments, it was harder than I imagined. Being shorter in stature and insecure all through middle school, it created a lot of feelings of rejection. I felt like I wasn't good enough for the people around me, especially the kids in school. Middle school was really rough, especially as the shorter, less athletic kid who was just not as good as most of the kids around me. I often was picked last if I was picked at all. There was one particular set of incidences that I remember the most. There was the kids who really didn't like me, and then all the kids who just didn't want to look bad in front of their friends, so they had to act like they didn't like me either. There was one kid in particular whom I always got into it with. His name was Rob Hogan. I don't even remember why exactly. We just never got along and fought a lot. He had a couple buddies who didn't like me either, and one day on the soccer field during recess, we were playing out on the soccer field, and somehow I ended up on the ground. One of his buddies, who at that age was considered pretty big, stomped on me a few times while I was down. At one point in all the commotion, Rob spit on me, and we all ended up in the principal's office. I believe they were given detention, but it wasn't something that kept them from messing with me again, at least during middle school. I grew up in a family of 9 with 7 kids. There are 2 girls and 5 boys, me being boy number 4 and kid number 5. I have always been loved by my family, but as I began to get picked on at school, and even from people closer to me at times, I developed a false sense of my identity. I just wanted to fit in and belong, but felt like an outsider. I felt like the real me wasn't good enough, and I needed to be someone else to be liked and loved. That's when it became easy to rely on the one gift I knew I had, music, to win the hearts of people over. It left me feeling empty because I could never do enough to feel accepted. When I did, I always felt it was because of the music ability I had and not because of who I really was. Instead of being rooted in God's identity for me as it says in the Bible, I was following the world's version of who I really was and becoming a people pleaser. As the enemy was whispering into my mind and trying to take it over with lies, I developed a fear that would ravage its way through my life. It was around that time that I developed a huge fear of tornadoes and was always worrying about people close to me being in car accidents or dying somehow. I distinctly remember one of the times we were having a tornado warning and everything was loud and blowing all over the place. I was 11 or 12 at the time, and I just remember being really freaked out. I had told my parents how afraid I was, and they prayed, which helped a lot. As I went down to the basement and was still freaking out a bit, I just remember kneeling on a soft cushion that was laying on the floor and crying out to God. In that moment, a surreal peace washed over me, and I no longer felt afraid.